Title: My cheating wife and her millionaire boyfriend got me fired from my 200K engineering job. Enjoy poverty, she texted. At 38, working as a janitor, I injured my hand and went to the ER. I was bleeding onto a hospital floor when the world tilted. Not from the pain, from the silence. The doctor had been talking, routine voice, calm hands. Then he looked at my blood work and stopped mid-sentence, like he'd hit a wall no one else could see. His eyes didn't widen, they hardened. That was worse. He left the room without a word. I remember the hum of the fluorescent lights, the chemical smell. My left hand wrapped in gauze, throbbing where the tendon had snapped while I was scrubbing a stairwell no one ever noticed. Janitor work teaches you invisibility. The door opened again. Not just the doctor this time. 3 specialists, white coats, serious faces, no curiosity, just disbelief. They stared at me like I was a glitch. "Sir," the first one said carefully, like his words might explode, "your DNA shows something impossible." I laughed, a dry sound. "Join the club." He swallowed. "You're related to—" The room spun. The past came rushing back, and with it, the reason I was here. 6 years earlier, I was an engineer making $200,000 a year. I designed systems that kept cities breathing, power grids, redundancies, fail-safes. I liked order. I liked knowing that if something broke, I'd already planned 3 ways to fix it. I thought marriage worked the same way. Her name was Elena. She laughed with her whole body when we met. Fell asleep with her hand on my chest like she needed proof I was real. She told people I was her safe place. I believed her. I paid for her MBA when she said she wanted more, bought the house she loved because of the morning light in the kitchen. I didn't mind working late. I thought sacrifice was an investment. Turns out I was just funding my replacement. The signs were small at first. Missed calls, a new password on her phone, a smile she used somewhere else before bringing it home. She started saying my job was just a job, like it wasn't the spine holding everything up. Then came the night she didn't come home. She said she'd been with friends. I asked which ones. She named a woman who'd been dead for 2 years. I didn't correct her. I watched her realize it on her own. That's when I stopped being hurt. That's when I started paying attention. His name surfaced quietly. Marcus Hale, tech investor, real estate, the kind of money that doesn't sweat. He showed up in our life like a shadow, a mentor, a connection. I ran background checks for a living, so I ran one on him. He didn't know that. What I found wasn't illegal, just sharp, predatory. Companies bled dry, people used up, lawsuits settled quietly. He liked taking things apart, including marriages. I didn't confront her. I didn't cry. I watched. I let her think I was slow, predictable, still in love. I set traps instead. When my job suddenly terminated me for ethical violations, I understood immediately. Anonymous complaints, fabricated emails, altered logs, perfectly imperfect. Marcus knew how to pull strings. Elena knew where to point him. I lost everything in 90 days. House, career, reputation. She packed her bags and stood at the door like she was doing me a favor. "Marcus can give me a life," she said. "You never could." Then she sent the text, "Enjoy poverty." I saved it. I took a janitor job because no one hires a disgraced engineer. I cleaned floors I once designed. I watched people walk past me like I was furniture. And I planned. I pulled every legal thread I could without moving the fabric. I recorded nothing illegally. I just listened, logged patterns, noted habits. Elena loved to talk when she thought she was winning. Marcus loved leverage. Offshore accounts, shell companies stacked like nesting dolls, all legal, until they weren't. I spent 2 years invisible. I learned when they traveled, who they paid, what they hid. And then I broke my hand. Torn tendon, blood everywhere, the ER. Which brings us back to the silence. The doctor finally said the name. a man whose companies powered half the country, a man whose foundation funded hospitals, research labs, universities, a man whose DNA was so guarded it barely existed outside vaults. My biological father. He donated anonymously decades ago, a closed file. Until now. The specialists explained, slowly, carefully, like explaining gravity to someone falling. I wasn't nobody, I was the contingency. I contacted his legal team the next morning. They already knew. Turns out, men like him planned for everything, including heirs they never meet. Within a week, my life changed again. Trusts, assets, quiet power. I didn't rush. I waited. Then I executed. First, I reopened my termination case with new legal backing. The fabricated evidence collapsed under scrutiny. My reputation snapped back into place like it had only been bent. Then the lawsuits dropped. Marcus's shell companies were linked, patterns exposed. Investors fled, boards panicked. Elena watched her golden future rot in real time. The confrontation happened in a boardroom. Glass walls, perfect lighting, public enough. She tried to speak. I didn't let her. I slid the phone across the table, her text on the screen. Enjoy poverty. Marcus looked at me like he'd finally recognized the threat he'd ignored. Too late. He lost everything within months. She lost him within weeks. I didn't gloat. I didn't raise my voice. I just stood up and walked out. Now, years later, I still think about that hospital room. The silence, the impossible truth. Not because of the money, because I learned something. They thought breaking me was the end. It was just the quiet part. And revenge? It's best served invisible. I don't enjoy poverty anymore, but I enjoy justice.